Welcome to the People Leaders Podcast, the audio resource for managers and business leaders creating high-performing teams. Join leadership and team development experts Jan and Michelle Turkelson each week as they explore both subjects from every angle. Through practical tips, valuable insights, and compelling interviews with leadership experts around the world, you'll learn how to bring out the best in your staff and how to give your best as a leader.
Hi, Jan.
Hello.
So today, let's talk about the GROW model.
One of my favourite all-time models.
So why is it one of your favourite all-time models, Jan? What is it?
Well, it's a model that I learned when we did our coaching accreditation, and I thought it was just simple and it encapsulates everything that I would want in a conversation, and you can use it in so many ways. So not only can you use it in a coaching conversation, a performance conversation, in an email, written material, if you want to influence an outcome, it just is so comprehensive.
It's great, isn't it? Because it's a process. It has a beginning and an end, and it always is solution focused. And so today, why don't we just, for each of the areas that represent the GROW model, so it's an acronym, let's have a look at maybe a couple of questions for each of those areas.
Sure.
So G in the GROW model. Tell us about G. What does G represent, Jan? So that's about
this is about the goal.
Yep.
You know, you always want to start with the end in mind, and to your point, that's the focus, you know, that solution focused. So, you know, what do you want to achieve? What do you want to get out of this conversation?
It seems so simplistic, but it's really, really
because
important.
Because it sets the scene.
Because if you're just sitting there and, you know, whether it's somebody that you're coaching or whether it's a colleague of yours or somebody that reports to you, if it's just, okay, we're talking, what's the point?
I know, and I'm thinking, what do they want to talk to me about? Whereas if I say the reason why I want to have this conversation with you, or the reason why I'm sending this email, the purpose of this communication, it actually allows that person's defensiveness to kind of settle a little bit, because they're not
You've
on
given
guard.
me certainty.
Yes,
exactly.
That's right.
So G represents goal. What's the purpose? What's the goal of this conversation?
Yeah. So another question would be, you know, what areas do you want to work on today if you were in a coaching conversation or a performance conversation?
Okay. So the next step, so once you've established the goal, the next step is reality. And reality is all about, so what is going on? You know, what is happening right here, right now?
Facts. Physical evidence. And the reason why this is so important is because you want to allow people to agree. You want common goal, and a common way of seeing a situation is if you just settle on the facts. And I think in a coaching conversation, you usually spend a bit of time on here establishing what is real, like what is your perception and what is the others, and what can both parties or you agree to. That is
or what's the issue at hand? Like, you know, what is the reality? What's the issue or the problem that you're dealing with right now? So it could be a work situation, a problem that you're trying to solve, or it could be a relationship issue at work. Again, you would have already established that at the goal set at the goal part of the at the beginning of the session.
Yeah, so some of the questions are things like, what have you done already? Because you've either done it or you haven't you, Michelle?
That's right.
You know, what progress have you made so far? What is working well right now?
That's right. What's the data saying? To your point before.
And what I love, things like when people are giving nondescript answers, I would usually say, okay, well, on a scale of 1 to 10,
great.
What do you think? Because that, again, gives you some specificity. And you'll notice the quality of those questions will give you quality answers to move, you know, to the next.
That's right. So the next one is about options. So you've had a look at establishing the goal. This is the situation. That's the reality. This is where we're at. Now we're actually moving forward. So what are the options now, given that's the reality where we are?
Yeah.
So
even just things, what are your options?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like what could you do right now? Or what could you do differently? You know, what action can you take to move on this goal in the next 24 hours?
That's right. What are the pros? What are the cons? What are the barriers? What else? What next?
Yeah.
Those sort of questions. Okay.
So these are the what questions in the options.
And then lastly is the wrap up. So the wrap up, that's what the W stands for. So this is about either landing on an option and deciding what to do about it. So it's not just, okay, I've landed on the option, that's it. The wrap up does include, it's a little bit more fulsome than that. It's like, okay, have we settled on the issue, and what is my commitment? What is your commitment?
Yeah.
What next? That's right.
The what next, absolutely. And to that point, I would really encourage people to write things down. So if I'm a leader and we have had I've had a performance conversation with someone, it's not my role to write it down. It's that person's, because then they have ownership. And I would ask them, could we just agree that this is what we're going to work on? Can you email me that so we both have a record and I know that we're both clear about what we've agreed to? Yeah. So it doesn't mean that you have to do all the work.
Fantastic, Jan. So that was the GROW model covered in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So again, the GROW model, that's the goal, the reality, the options, and the wrap up. What next? Okay. Nice talking to you, Jan.
See you.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode of the People Leaders Podcast. For show notes and other resources, please visit us at peopleleaderspodcast.com. And while you're there, you can subscribe for future episodes so you can continue your own leadership journey. And please be sure to share this and other episodes with your friends and colleagues. The People Leaders Podcast is brought to you by the Experts on Air Podcast Network.